it's difficult, I have to say, because part of the thing to remember is that whoever you're talking to has some agenda on their side. And at the moment, I think the Russians are going through a massive identity crisis. And I try to visualize this in some ways. They were the other superpower for a very long time. During the Clinton administration, we had the rather peculiar assignment of devolving the power of our major adversary in something short of a land war. And so they are having trouble trying to figure out exactly what their role is. They are certainly not as powerful as they were, and Putin has come back in a way in order to show the power of Russia. And I think it is very hard to gain their trust. I think what we're trying to do now is to gain their cooperation on Syria specifically, because they are the ones that are giving support to Assad, and we need their help in that. But I think it's important for us to put ourselves in their shoes, but understand that part of the problem is their identity issues. And it is important to work with them. I would not look into Putin's eyes and say, I trust him. And I think that they are going through a very hard time. They are having their own set of issues of people beginning to demonstrate. And then there were stories, yesterday was May Day, and so there were stories in the paper today about there's not an insignificant number of people that are former communists. And so I think there are a lot of changes there, making it a very difficult point. I have to tell you, my pin issue, I did in fact wear pins to signal things, and I got into terrible trouble with Putin on this. I completely disagreed with his policy on Chechnya. And at the last NATO summit, what happened, it was a complete accident. President Clinton and Secretary of Defense Cohen and I were sitting on a sofa, and I don't know who did it first, but we did the Hear No Evil, See No Evil monkeys, the three of us. It was a pretty crazy picture. And so I was shopping somewhere, and I saw three monkeys, and I bought the monkeys. And so we walk into the summit with the Russians in June 2000. President Putin turns to President Clinton and says, we always notice what pins Secretary Albright wears. Why are you wearing those monkeys? And I said, because I think your Chechnya policy is evil. Talk about a mistake, not different. And he was furious at me. And he said, you have no right to talk to the Chechens. How dare you do this? And President Clinton gave me this look like, are you out of your mind? You have just screwed up the summit, so you have to be very careful.